Hi, this is Miss King, and today we're going to go through our Unit 2 argumentative notes, and we are going to focus on types of sentences. So this is going to be pages 20 to 22 in your packet. So before I start, if I go through anything too quickly, you are more than welcome to play this as many times as necessary to get your notes down. If you have any questions about the content of these notes, please stop in and see either myself or Ms. K. King in B221 or B220. So we're going to start off with simple sentence. So a simple sentence has the most basic elements that make it a sentence. It has a subject, a verb, and a complete thought. Examples of simple sentences. Joe waited for the train. Joe is who the sentence is about. And what is he doing? He is waiting. So as long as a sentence has a subject, a verb, and makes up a complete thought, meaning it makes sense, that is going to be a simple sentence. A simple sentence, we can also remember, is just an independent clause, which means it can stand on its own. Some more examples here. The train was late. The train is our subject. Was is our verb. Mary and Samantha took the bus. Mary and Samantha, they're two people, which make them a compound subject because they're two people who are doing the same thing. What are they doing? They took the bus. Took is our verb. Then we have compound sentences. So this is kind of like the next step up from a simple sentence. A little bit more tricky, but we can still get through this. So a compound sentence is made up of two independent clauses, two complete sentences, connected to one another with a coordinating conjunction. Coordinating conjunctions are the fanboys. So that's the acronym you can use to remember fanboys. The fanboys are for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. So anytime you see two independent clauses connected with one of those fanboys, for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so, that's how you know it's a compound sentence. Some examples would be, Joe waited for the train, which is a complete sentence, comma, but, there's our fanboy, the train was late. I looked for Mary and Samantha at the bus station, independent thought, comma, but, fanboy, they arrived at the station before noon and left on the bus before I arrived. A complex sentence is made up of an independent clause and one or more dependent clauses connected to it. So a complex sentence is just a little bit more complicated than a compound sentence. A dependent clause is similar to an independent clause, which is a complete sentence, but it lacks one of the elements that would make it a complete sentence. This is a lot of information. Just get the notes down and we will look at some examples. Examples of dependent clauses could be, because Mary and Samantha arrived at the bus station before noon, while he waited at the train station, and after they left on the bus. So when you're reading dependent clauses, they leave you with a question. So after they left on the bus, well, what happened? We don't know. That makes it dependent because it's missing what happens when they leave on the bus. Dependent clauses such as those above cannot stand alone as a sentence. They cannot be their own sentence, but they can be added to an independent clause to form a complex sentence. Dependent clauses begin with subordinating conjunctions. We'll take a look at what those are here in a second. A complex sentence joins an independent clause with one or more dependent clauses. The dependent clause can go first in the sentence, followed by the independent clause, as in the following. Because Mary and Samantha arrived at the bus station before noon, I did not see them at the station. So usually we don't start sentences off with because, but here we do, and then we add an independent clause at the end. So the independent clause is right here. I did not see them at the station. That is independent. That could stand on its own. This because is a subordinating conjunction, which makes the orange section of the sentence a dependent clause. The dependent clause can go first in the sentence, followed by the independent clauses in the following. This is just like the example we just saw. While, which is our subordinating conjunction, he waited at the train station, dependent clause, Joe realized that the train was late, independent clause. After they left on the bus, dependent clause, Mary and Samantha realized that Joe was waiting at the train station, independent clause, connected here by commas. Or, in a complex sentence, the independent clause can go first, followed by a dependent clause as in the following. So this is basically just flipping the other sentence. I did not see them at the station, independent clause, because Mary and Samantha arrived at the bus station before noon, dependent clause. Joe realized that the train was late, independent clause, while he waited at the train station, dependent clause. Mary and Samantha realized that Joe was waiting at the train station, independent clause, after they left on the bus, dependent clause. So as you see, it can either start independent and go to dependent, or start with dependent and go to independent. So you have to kind of figure out the sentence as you're reading it. Or, here's a tricky one, the independent clause can go in the middle of the sentence, sandwiched by multiple dependent clauses as in the following. Although I got there early, I did not see them at the station because Mary and Samantha arrived at the bus station before noon. So we have although, which is a subordinating conjunction. So we have one dependent clause. I did not see them at the station, independent clause. Because, subordinating conjunction, Mary and Samantha arrived at the bus station before noon. So we have dependent clause, independent clause, dependent clause. It's kind of like a little clause sandwich there. Here's two more examples. Breathless after sprinting to meet the train, Joe realized that the train was late while he waited at the train station. Not recognizing anyone around them, Mary and Samantha realized that Joe was waiting at the train station after they left on the bus. Take a second and see if you can figure out independent clause versus dependent clause and find any subordinating conjunctions. So go ahead and pause this, see if you can do that. Okay, so that's going to wrap it up here for the notes. So what you're going to be responsible for now is the activities in the packet after the sentences notes, as well as the sentence quiz that's in today's folder. If you have any questions, please feel free to come down to B221 or B220. Ask one of the Miss Kings for any help. I know the notes went kind of fast here, but feel free to replay these as many times as you need. I will also send a Quizlet deck of study flashcards to your Schoology folder, so you're able to also see some examples there and kind of practice and study with these types of sentences. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask one of the Miss Kings, and make sure to finish your work for today.